Ma'am, they say we are not makers of history, but we are history. But on screen, we tend to distort history. So, what was your experience like in bringing to the screen The Black Prince?
Well, actually, when the film was first offered to me, it was a story that I didn't know at all. And when I read it, I was completely fascinated by it. And what drew me to it was the fact that Jasjeet Ji, the producer of the film, is a historian and had done a lot of research on it. Also, Kavi Raz, the director and the writer of the film, had been passionately involved with it for many years now. And I felt when I met them that these were people who didn't just want to make a film. It was a commitment much before that, because as Sikhs they believe that this was a forgotten chapter in history, and it was very important to bring it, give it visibility and give it its rightful place. Because although the film ends in a tragedy, the fact is that Dalip Singh did sow the seeds that finally led to one of the many chapters of the Indian independence movement.
And also, you played the Black Prince, and
Yes.
he was quite an ill-fated character. What drew you to him? Since you're a singer, Sufiana, गाने and all, तो क्या उसमें शिद्दत ऐसी थी कि आपने सोचा?
दरअसल क्योंकि सबसे पहले तो फ़ख्र की बात हमारे लिए ये थी कि वो सिख हिस्ट्री का ऐसा पन्ना हॉलीवुड जैसी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री, ब्रिस्टन एंटरटेनमेंट पार्टनर्स लॉस एंजलिस ने उठाया. Obviously, they thought like Maharaja Dalip Singh is a global figure. So I was getting, films offers from 2009 as I came to the limelight. But I never consider acting as my career, because I know myself I cannot act.
And then you were acting with a legend
And
like her.
see, yeah. So no. This is
अच्छे खासों की
लेकिन
तबीयत खराब हो जाती है.
नहीं मगर मैं आपको ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि I was guarded with the legends and she was supporting me like tremendously. She said, okay यहाँ बैठे रहो, पलक नहीं झपकना, सुनो मेरे को. और ऐसा चमत्कार हो गया, लोगों को यही लगेगा कि मैं ही एक्टिंग कर रहा हूँ, किसी को क्या पता कि शबाना भी नहीं कर पाई. So she was so lovely and helpful and so, oh my God.
मगर मुझे जो इस कैरेक्टर की जो सबसे अच्छी चीज़ लगती है वो ये है कि व्हेन यू फर्स्ट सी हर, व्हेन यू सी रानी जिंद कौर, everything is being taken away from her. Her son has been taken away and raised by the British as a Christian. They've converted him to Christianity. Victoria calls him her Black Prince. She's not seen her son in ages. Her husband is dead. The empire has been taken from her. And the first time you see her, you imagine that this would be a woman in such dire straits, should be a very helpless person. But you discover, in fact, that she's a very feisty lady. And she is there with one sole mission, which is to tell her son that this is not your reality. You're not a prince, you're a Maharaja. You were born for this, and you have to go back and reclaim the Sikh empire. So there are lots of very funny moments in it, very dramatic moments, very emotional moments, which I really, really enjoyed playing.
And also, ma'am, there is a tendency to sometimes distort facts and not show everything the way it is. So how much of it is documentary, how much of it is like
that's a call that I really cannot take, because I'm not so so conversant with it. But knowing the people that are involved with it, I think they have been very careful to try and keep it as truthful as possible.
And also, I mean, these days we don't like showing history. We go back to history, but we distort it to in the hope that people don't get offended with it. And then also these days, like with the censor board, it just keeps objecting to things. So what do you make of it? Like Hindu Sarkar is coming, they have an objection with something that's happened in the past. They don't want it showcased now. What do you think about this whole scenario?
Well, I think it's an extremely unfortunate situation that is happening, and every day it seems to be becoming even worse. And I think it is strengthening, because no real action is being taken against these people. So you can't do anything if people want to protest. It's perfectly valid in any democracy. Dissent is also valid. But the means that you employ to express your dissent, those have to be within the confines and the rules of law. That's the most important thing. लेकिन आजकल जो हो रहा है, 10 लोग उठ के ये कहने लगते हैं कि इसने हमको हर्ट किया है, उस बुनियाद पे पूरे टेलीविजन कैमरास उनके पास चले जाते हैं. They get their 5 minutes of glory because they've never even been looked at before this, and suddenly they seem. I think the press also has a role to play here, because I think before you rush to anybody who's creating this kind of trouble, if you would take care to find out whether these people who are not just objecting is fine, but these people who are here to create havoc, whether they really have any standing within the community, whether they have done any anything, or whether they are here just to get the fame on themselves. It's a very tightrope walk, and you have to watch it. But I think for artists, we have to just carry on doing what we believe must be spoken about, must be written, must be seen, and then take it from there.
And you were somebody who did some path-breaking films. Do you think those kind of movies like Arth, Mandi will get made in the scenario where, I mean, we are not progressing. I just feel somewhere creatively we are also regressing.
But one of the things that I must say that the Board of Film Certification in the case of Fire was really quite remarkable on what they did, because the film, remember, had been running very peacefully for a couple of weeks before the Shiv Sena decided that they would take umbrage to the film and then indulge in all that they did. The film was re-referred to the Board of Film Certification, and they again passed it without a single cut. So in that time and day, you did see that there was a certain enlightened vision of what was happening. It seems that space is shrinking, but we have to fight back.
And also, ma'am, if you were censor board chief for a day, what is that one change you would bring about?
See, I've been talking about it for a long time. What I've been saying is that we have been following the British system of censorship, whereby you take a group of people, like about 30 odd people from various factors in society, and you make them part of this board. Now, I find that very strange, because what you're actually suggesting is every 5 years, the morality of this country will be determined by the political dispensation of the day, because we all know that the people who are chosen are those who seem to be favorable to the dispensation. That is completely unacceptable. What we need to do is we need to adopt the American system, whereby the board comprises of people from within the film industry, and the filmmaker herself or himself accepts that I want this film for universal release, so I will accept these cuts. Or says, I do not want a single cut, so I'll get a XXX. It's an informed decision. It is not somebody sitting on your head and deciding your morality for you. I think we've grown up, and we have to understand the basic problem I've been saying for a long time, is to call it the censor board in itself is wrong.
Absolutely.
It is a board of classification.
Absolutely.
Basically, you have to classify, not even to certify, you have to classify. And that's what the Shyam Benegal committee has done. That report is lying. Unused, no action has been taken on it. But considering that it was the present government that had set it in action, I do hope that very quickly they take the recommendations of that board.
Absolutely.